Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Just to recap last night, pretty much what I said. Thought our defense played outstanding. We've got great play from Mike Panasuk inside and Raekwon Williams as well. I thought they played outstanding. Really built a wall, basically, that we always talk about. You got to play against the run, stop the run. But really, collectively as a defense, Gobachi had another big game. I thought our corners played extremely well, as did our whole entire secondary. But you really can't point to a person and say he did not play well, which is the reason, they didn't give up a touchdown and 3 field goals. Got a little soft there on 2 consecutive drives, but was a little bit. One play sort of led to another play. On the third down, got a little bit tired on that. I guess it was the end of the third quarter drive, and then they continued on into the fourth quarter. But played outstanding, and I thought we got the game back with a 3-and-out series in the fourth quarter, and got the ball back to the offense, and went down and scored. On the offensive side of the ball, really sort of came alive there at the end of the game, and had some huge plays, as I said last night. But obviously, Cody White has a big catch at the end of the game on third and 19. To get a 16 of that, and then has another big catch on 3rd and 9, the second series, and then Hunter Rison's 2 plays were very, very big plays on a 4th and 3, and then again later on as well. So big plays, and then Felton delivers as well. So big plays on offense. Thought special teams we played pretty well, and pretty much what I said last night. I just thought our football team just, we found the inches. And I talk all the time about finding inches to our players, the difference between this and that or whatever. And we found them on the football field, able to got it out and win a big football game.
Mark, this is Hondo Carpenter. As you look towards the downside, meaning the back end of your schedule, you certainly will exponentially see an increase in level of competition. I'm curious, I know you can't change who you are and your identity, but you can't expect your defense to hold everyone to 3 points. Do you have to look at maybe some new or creative ways to get points on the board, Mark?
Well, we're always looking for that. I think that's what we do collectively as a coaching staff. We borrow things. Coaches are the biggest, borrowers probably out there. We borrow things from things we see. We try and create things, but again, it's more or less sometimes the execution of the play call versus the structure of the defense. What is the strength of the defense relative to the play call that was called, and then the execution and the nuances in terms of running the football. And that's what I've said a number of times. We have young players at certain positions, so you can't change everything because you already have young players. But the system works. We've got RPOs in there. We've got a lot of different things that we do. We got no huddle. We got these different things, getting the ball in the perimeter, etc., inside zone things, power game, different type of concepts. But about every running concept that you can use is used here. And then we lean on certain ones relative to what's being successful. From that standpoint, we are difficult to prepare for, I think, because when you take all the different formations and then the different run concepts out of that, the same could be said for passes. You start to build up there's a big library there, but there's no question that we need to score more points. That when you look around the Big Ten Conference, really, there's people playing good defense, and we're certainly of that vintage as well at this point in time. But it's a game-to-game process. It always will be, and so we'll get ready to play against Northwestern and go from there.
Yeah, when you guys had the 10-9 lead, Tried to run clock. You had a couple of third and longs. The run game didn't quite give you a good chain. You decided to go ahead and be aggressive and throw the ball once to Rice and once to White, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, to go ahead and talk about the decision to do that. You had a good defense that was playing well, but that's kind of aggressive. Was that a matter of trusting Lewerke, or what was the thought process that went into that, and how that came about and the execution there?
Well, Coach Warner asked me what I wanted to do, whether we wanted, run it or pass it. And I said, let's go. I said, got faith in our football team, and, we need to play the game to win and attack the football game. So I didn't feel like we could just go in the bag and punt it down there with 4 minutes to go or whatever it was, the first one. And so we went ahead with it. And then the second one, same thing. I just felt like, let's try and win the football game. And even though we were playing very well defensively, they had driven down the field, and, you get in a rhythm and they're going fast like that. That's only, you one play away. And I thought that we could, as long as we didn't make a crucial mistake, that we could survive the clock stopping for a play. Let's try and make a play.
And Brian Lewerke admitted that he was not at his best through most of the game. You didn't know that he was going to finish the game 5 for 5. So you had belief in him also. At that point, he was not necessarily having his best game, but you put a lot in his hands at that point.
Yeah, I did, but we always do with our quarterbacks, and we have a belief system in our players, and our guys can make plays. And I've said it all along that usually probably in crunch time he might be at his best, due to his just sort of demeanor. And he's gaining experience and knowledge as we go. There's no question that he made some decisions that on the field that probably you would like to have back. But that's probably could be said from almost everybody out there too, including coaches coaching.
You mentioned Raekwon and Mike Panicuk. Can you talk a little bit more about the job the defensive line as a whole did, especially with Indiana running such a high tempo like that to stay fresh?
Yeah, we really have to, first of all, be in great shape, and we work extremely hard to do the things we do, whether it's in the weight room or under Ken Manning or on the field. But, on average, we probably work about 130 plays of practice as team plays, getting ready for these because you got to work your ones and your twos. And our front is working those plays. And so they're going to get ready for that kind of tempo, and that helps immensely. I thought our coaches did an outstanding job. I think Ron Burton and Mark Snyder have those guys playing at a very high level in terms of execution right now. And you play against a lot of different type of offenses as we go through this season. So we've seen, we see it all. But thus far, they're playing extremely well. They're big. They're big, firm guys that have power and young. Mike played last year as a true freshman. Raekwon is a redshirt freshman, so they have game experience, but they're still young. So I think the best is yet to come with these guys. I still think that as a football team, we've not peaked on all cylinders, and waiting for that to happen.
You seem like he got a lot more snaps off the edge for you guys in that game.
He did. I think he got about 22 or so. He got his first sack, so that was exciting for him to have. But he's another guy that is going to be an outstanding player. He's a true freshman. He goes about 272 pounds. Good player, and he's active, and we roll our guys in there. And we have to because of the nature of offenses today. So we roll our guys in, and they've done an outstanding job.
With this young roster that we've talked about a lot, as you reach pretty much the halfway point of the Big Ten season, games start to mean a lot more being in a Big Ten race. Do you have to guard at all against the young guys kind of looking around and realizing, wow, we're in this race now, or is it kind of the same approach you've had all year?
Well, pretty much what we've said is that, and I've talked to you guys about being in the phases here. We got one more game here versus Northwestern to sort of complete October. And we knew that this stretch of 5 games that we had with 2 at home and 3 away was going to be tough. So we're just going to focus on the task at hand right now, and then we'll worry about what happens in November when November comes. But I do think that you have a young football team, as we've said, and really I was told today we have 64 players on our football team who's never been to a bowl game. And we've only not been to a bowl game one time here in my time. So that tells you how young our football team is, you know. So that's exciting for us to be bowl eligible right now, 6-1. We're 4-0 in the conference. All those things are very exciting. But I think the other message of last night's football game is that we're inches away. We're inches away from not being 6-1, and we have to take care of the small things. Big things will follow.
So look, getting some reps there, right guard, getting back in the lineup.
Yeah, Dave I thought played pretty well in there for his first day back. He looked healthy, and that's a good thing.
I was just wondering, with the ran those 2 trick plays last night, and you said it was a great call by Coach Warner on that reverse. I was just wondering how much conversation there is between the two of you before plays like that are run about, do we want to do this, and the timing of those plays and such.
I always know what plays are going in. I do not micromanage our offense or our defense. I think that our coordinators do an outstanding job, and they have to make decisions probably within 10 seconds. And for me to sit there and interrupt them in their communication with our coaches and then our players would just be disruptive. So what I will do is ask things between series and during timeouts, and obviously on certain situations, you know, if he wants input, he's going to ask me. If he wants it, for example, throwing the ball on the 3rd down at the end of the game, if he wants input, which he asked me, he says, "What do you want to do here?" And then I'm going to tell him. But there's very, very, very few times that I'm going to interrupt and say, "No, don't do this," you know, and disrupt someone, because I think that has long-term problems. That's not a short-term problem. That is a long-term problem. Begin to question somebody's decisions on the field. I mean, you know, we can critique that after the fact. And I can make have discussions after the fact, which we do, and they're healthy discussions. But I think to do that during a play is very difficult.
Yesterday's game was the first of 5 in a row against teams you lost to last year. I mean, obviously, you already beat Michigan, a couple weeks ago. But is that something you guys looked at as motivation? You know, given the loss to Indiana last year, do you look at the stretch of the schedule as kind of just part of the overall goal at redemption this year and getting these teams back from a year ago?
Well, I don't think we really look at the team we played as much as we look at the times, or, you know, ourselves at that point in time. You know, last year's IU game, we lost in overtime. You know, we were ahead. Then we were behind, then we tied it up and all that stuff. But I think last year's game sort of began our tumble a little bit last year. You know, we came off, you know, we were 7th ranked in the nation after Notre Dame. Who knew? And then we lost Wisconsin, but didn't play well, had some turnovers, and then we went down to IU and lost. And I think I think we lost a little confidence at that point in time. So we're just regaining ourselves and restarting ourselves in every opportunity we have, and just looking forward and trying to focus on the present, though, but look forward in terms of, okay, who are we now? Every single week, who are we, and what do we have to do this week?